Hi guys, it's Rob from Royal Balls. Clutch number 2 is out. This is my attempt at Blackhead Lavender. And again, the odds were not kind. Let's have a look at the clutch. So this big girl here is the mother of the clutch. She is a pastel het lavender, a proven breeder. She's given me 2 clutches in the past and always throws some really nice lavenders. So pastel het lavender female paired to this guy here, who is an Enchi Blackhead het lavender. So it's a het to het pairing. Anything non-visual will be 66% pos het lavender. And of course we're hoping for some Blackhead lavenders. Any Blackhead in the clutch will be most welcome. Okay, so here is the clutch card. We got 10 eggs. And it is the pastel het lavender to a Blackhead Enchi het lavender. So het to het pairing, a 1 in 4 chance of getting visual lavenders. And what we're after here is the Blackhead Enchi lavender. This is day 60. And you can see that everything has already pipped apart from this 1 egg here, which is being shoved around. These were a nice healthy clutch, so I just let them pip by themselves, but most of them have either pipped or are already out. So anything which is not a visual lavender will be 66% pos het for lavender. The first baby pipped on day 58, so the slightly warmer temperatures in my incubator are working. So let's just have a look and see what we've got. There are 3 babies already out, and I can already see that we do have 1 visual lavender already. So both parents het for lavender, and this one is not actually what we were after. This is a pastel lavender, so no Enchi and no Blackhead in this lavender. And I can already see from looking at the babies that have already pipped, there are no other visual lavenders apart from we have 1 egg that has not yet pipped. So we need to have a look at that one and see what's in there. This guy here is just a pastel by the looks of it, and we have an Enchi. This snake here is just an Enchi, no Blackhead in this one. But I do see some very dark coloured heads here. So let's have a look and see what else we got. Okay, so I am actually going to start cutting with this egg. This is the 1 egg that has not pipped, and it's my 1 last shot at a visual lavender. So let's have a look and see what we got. The rest of them are non-visuals. There's only 1 lavender so far, so the odds have not been in my favour. Let's have a look and see what's inside this one. Let's hope for a visual lavender. And it is not a visual lavender. This one actually looks like a Blackhead Enchi. 66% het lavender, so we only got 1 lavender in the whole clutch. Let's have a look at this one. That is quite bright. I'm thinking this one is possibly just an Enchi. Let's have a look and see what we got here with this one. Okay, looks like an Enchi. Let's have a look at this guy. Pastel. That looks like just a normal. Pastel Blackhead. You can see the blushing behind the head here, down the neck. So this looks like Pastel Blackhead. And the last egg. Goodness, the odds have really hammered us this time. Not great odds on this clutch. And that looks like just another normal. Not great odds. Alright guys, clutch number 2 is all out of the egg. And so let's have a crack at IDing them. This poor guy here was the one that did not pip. And he was all tangled up in his yolk, had not absorbed properly, and I did have to tie off the umbilicus, but he is very, very weak, and I don't think that this guy is actually going to make it, which is a real shame. He isn't moving a great deal, but he is still alive. We'll leave him to one side for now, and let's have a look at the rest. So we can start with the easy ones. So we've got Enchi, we have Blackhead, and we have Pastel at play here. And of course it was a het-to-het pairing for Lavender, and we do actually have one Lavender. The visual Lavender is easy. Let's just pull this guy out, and as you can see, it looks like all the other Lavenders that I've produced this last season. It is not Enchi and it is not Blackhead, unfortunately. It's very pale and you can see the very white head. So this is Pastel Lavender. And we were killed on the odds here, guys. We only got 1 out of 10 babies from a het-to-het Lavender pairing, and I was expecting 2 or 3. But never mind. That is the one Lavender, Pastel Lavender. And at the other extreme is this guy here. This is a normal. Nothing in this guy, just a normal. Let's just start pulling these guys apart so that we can compare them side to side. And I can show you which ones stand out. Well, of course these 2 guys here stand out a mile. These are banded snakes. They are not particularly dark. They have big wide eye stripes. Here's the eye stripe on that one. So these guys here are both Enchis, slightly different colour. But they're very, very bright, so I suspect these are 66% het lavender, and if I was to put money on it, I would say that both of these are going to turn out to be het lavender. So 2 Enchis. We have this guy here who is quite dark and looks a little bit like a normal. But if you look at the eye stripe, you will see that the eye stripe is very, very thin and the head is very dark. Let's compare that to the normal that we just looked at. So in comparison to the normal on this side, this one is much darker. You can see it's much blacker. So this one is a straight Blackhead, I believe. And the way to tell Blackhead from a normal, not just the colour, but Blackhead always has that very thin eye stripe. You see the eye stripe here is very, very thin. So this is straight Blackhead, nothing else in this one. This is just Blackhead. We have three guys here. Three guys here which are very, very bright. We've got two dark ones and we've got one quite bright one. They all have the characteristic, if I can just show you the head with the white lips, and these guys also have the white lips. They all have a slightly blushed head stamp, but if we look at the patterns, you can see the pattern on this one is actually quite different, and you see the dorsal with the hooks and the dots on the dorsal, as opposed to this one here, which is the bright one. So this one is just straight pastel. These two with the weird pattern are pastel blackheads, and again, if we look at the eye stripes, the normal pastel, if we look at the eye stripes, quite a nice broad eye stripe there. Compared to these two guys with a very skinny eye stripe. This one also, see the very skinny eye stripe. So we have one pastel and two pastel blackheads. So let's just compare this pastel blackhead to an adult pastel blackhead. So this girl here is a sub-adult pastel blackhead, and again, if we look at the eye stripes, you can see the eye stripes are actually very narrow. So this is pastel blackhead, and if we look at this one, this is also pastel blackhead. You can see the similarity in colour. We will revisit these when they shed, which leaves this one, which is very, very bright. It's an Enchi, as you can see from the banding, but the pattern, you can see the bands extend over the top of the dorsal, and the colour is very, very orangey with flames up the side. If we have a look at the eye stripes, they are typical Enchi, but they stop short. And we've also got, if I can show you, as in the cypress, you can see blushing down the neck here, this part here, blushing down the neck from the head stamp. So this is Blackhead Enchi. There's no pastel in this, but this is quite an extraordinarily bright Blackhead Enchi. As opposed to the Blackhead Pastel and the straight Blackhead. So we have Blackhead here, we have Blackhead Pastel, and we have Blackhead Enchi. These snakes are going all over the place, so we'll come back and look at these when they shed. But there's the spectrum. We've got a Blackhead, a Pastel Blackhead, and a Blackhead Enchi. And unfortunately, this guy here that is struggling is also a Blackhead Enchi. Narrow eye stripes, but a very banded pattern. Not as bright as this guy here, so that could be a het influence, het lavender and non-het lavender, not sure about that. Or this one might not actually be properly developed, but two Blackhead Enchis, one of which I don't think is going to make it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video. Video short, ARP is also hatching, and I've got a short video on some of his really exciting stuff. Stay tuned for that. See you on the next one.